Hey yo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome to Channel 5 Gaming's first ever park contest. That's right, we are doing a theme park contest. Highly anticipated over the last few episodes. Everyone's been talking about it, so it's time to just get it out. We did a poll in Discord coming up with the sizes of these things, and it's quite a tricky subject, but I think we came to a conclusion. So let's get right on with the rules, shall we? One thing I want to mention is we're going to do the TLDR, and we're going to go into game and show you guys how to set up, because this is going to require a little bit more work from your end, so you have to pay attention if you want to participate in this contest. So let's get right on into it. A theme park is a collection of multiple themed lands, and in this contest we're challenging you to build the very best individual themed land you can. With compact dimensions, we're looking for one highly detailed and cohesively themed, complete with main attraction, flat rides, shops, and a park entrance. Think Tomorrowland at Disneyland, Klugheim at Phantasialand, Forbidden Valley at Alton Towers, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Islands of Adventure, and so on. All of these entries will be voted on by the public to determine the winners. Disclaimer: your creation must meet a certain quality standard to be recorded, edited, and released on the channel. We are going to be much more strict with these standards than previously before, requiring advanced level build quality from all brackets, and we believe builders, no matter the experience, are capable of producing an entry of this quality and want to push everyone to their best. So no phoning it in, and you are capable of doing this even if you're a new builder. So it says click here for a guide on how to meet advanced builder quality. We encourage everyone to use Discord for feedback and advice. So if you feel like you haven't met the quality yet, you have Discord to help you get there in 2 months. So let's click here and see what it says. So we're looking for advanced quality. So no janky coaster sections, no extreme forces or collision with scenery, appropriate music selected. Well, yeah, themed structures and scenes without repetition and glaring gaps on your themed scenery. So no just repetitive trees and rocks just plop down for the sake of it. Lighting, floodlights, enhanced areas, practical light sources. No just spamming spotty lights everywhere just for the sake of it. Your Steam workshop must include multiple screenshots, informative descriptions for your creation. If you simply just put up one screenshot of your creation, say there it is, it goes to show you don't care about the creation that you spent 2 months on, so why should I care about featuring it? So essentially, advanced just means common sense. Put your work in and showcase that you like what you worked on, and I will like featuring it. I don't want to see a bunch of open areas when I'm only giving you a limited size to work on. I don't want to see repetition when I'm giving you only a limited size to build on. I want to see the best from every single one of you, and in the past we have seen beginners and builders quickly advanced to the advanced bracket by building something in their contest submission. So everybody is capable of doing this. And with that said, you should be striving for something down here. So back to the details. This contest will run for 8 weeks from June 15th till midnight August 10th. The videos will be recorded, edited, and released as park spotlights as quickly as I am able to produce them. So full personal videos once again. At the end of every bracket, a community voting form will be released. The winners will be announced at the end of the contest. Since this contest is so demanding, every first, second, and third winner of each bracket will receive a Steam case of their choice from a prize pool of over 350 games. Boom. Contest rules. Too long didn't read. This is the important stuff, and then we're going to jump into game, and you have to watch this next part because it's very important if you want to participate in this contest. So it's 40 by 40 grid tiles in Planet Coaster. Each grid tile is 4 meters. So it's essentially 160 by 160 meters. So Plinko grid limited build area. One single cohesive themed land. Everything has to match. That is very important. If you're going with a Cosmic Cow themed park, everything has to be Cosmic Cow. Make sure it's all cohesive, but come up with something a little bit more creative. Go for something cool. Not that a Cosmic Cow isn't cool. I'm just saying, I don't want everyone to do that because I suggested it. One main attraction, coaster or dark ride or track ride. So, and we're allowing up to a 3 of max. I don't want a bunch of people just cramming this 40 by 40 space with 60 coasters because they think they can. No, we want your park to look good. Basically, that's a requirement. If it looks great when I open it up, it gets a feature. If it's just a freaking pile of spaghetti coaster mess, I don't want to look at it. So that's why we're maximizing how many coasters and rides you can put in total. But I know some of the legends and stuff will go one main attraction. I could easily do more than that, and we're going to allow that to a maximum of 3. So that means you could go 2 coasters, 1 ride, 2 rides, 1 coaster. However you want to mix and match, that is up to you, or just 3 coasters. 2 flat rides for a maximum of 5, and this means it's your standard flat rides that you get in the game, and you have to theme them to whatever your coaster is themed by, whatever your entrance is themed by, whatever your park is themed by. You have to theme your flat rides for a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 5. And we want 5+ shops all themed around your main theme, and there is no max. So 1 themed park entrance is what we require from you, and we're also saying no workshop blueprints of any kind, with the exception of fonts and theme maker toolkit. Now, the reason I decided to go this way is because you could simply just go to the Steam Workshop and go to Wix's page and download every single Viking blueprint and fill up that 40x40 in a matter of 4 hours. And that's why I'm saying you got to build it yourself. But we will allow fonts and theme maker toolkit to help you make signs and stuff, because nobody wants to sit there making alphabet letters for the next week. So let's go over to game, and this is the important stuff on how to get you started, but don't just tune out once you've seen how to do that. We have a lot of other stuff to go in through here, so I want to make sure everybody pays attention to this, and we'll be going over into a Q&A video right after you watch this. You can come on Discord and leave your questions for me if I missed anything. Okay, so here we are in game. There's 2 ways you're going to be able to do this contest, but one that I recommend. So we're going to go to play mode, and what I recommend you do is go into scenario editor and you go new scenario. This is going to allow you to pick a base default stamp map. You can also pick a custom one with a custom background. Choose whatever palettes you want to work with. I can understand someone might want to do a Western theme or an apocalypse theme. They might want to go for desert. They might want to take desert, but mix that with a city background. So what you want to do is you take the city background. So what you'd have to do is basically copy these over. Actually, you know what? I could probably do that. Give me 1 second. Okay, I've swapped them all out to match that of the desert, but we're going with the city background. And instead of the city ambience, we're going to choose desert ambience. And we're going to start new custom scenario. So here we are. As you can see, the game has automatically swapped out all the textures of the background. So it's kind of an interesting blend. You can see it kind of falls away there, but this is something we're allowing you to do, and it's something to help you get creative. It's not mandatory, but you could pick any of the biomes you choose. You could just go with Alpine. You could go with Arctic. You could just go with the plain old city, whatever helps you. This is a bit of a strange blend if you ask me, but I figured I'd try it out for the sake of this video. Once you have your park loaded up, we have 2 things you can do. We have a tester border that you can download. The link is in the rules form. This is a 40x40. While you can build within these limits and figure it out for yourself, if you go out of the borders, we will deduct points. If you go underground and your cave goes outside of the borders, we will deduct points, a percentage of your votes overall, ensuring that you will essentially not get in the top 5. So you do not want to go past your borders. This is just there for us to basically measure your park when we're done, but also ensure that you've done it properly and help you see what a 40x40 is. If you want to do this properly, what I highly recommend you do is in scenario mode, we have this button in the top right hand corner, and you can go to park and edit your park dimensions and guest spawn points. Another thing I encourage is making sure your guest spawn point is somewhere interesting. You can use this one if you want. You can use whatever the biome gives you, but you can also do it back here and create your own spawn point. So it's something for you to think about. But the width that you're looking for is 160 by 160 on the metric system. So if you're working on the imperial system, that is going to be about 520 feet squared. So our height, we're also limiting that to 100. And however you put this box is up to you. So now you can get an understanding of, okay, I can go that far underground, or I can go that far above ground. So these are the dimensions you want to lay out for yourself in scenario mode before you get started. Now the box is off to the middle there, so we want to slide it back. So we're going to just push this all the way back until it hits our park entrance. Boom. And now we can do our park entrance there. With my build, I might want to go a little bit underground, but I also want to go above ground a little bit. So maybe that's how my box is going to work. And if you want a second spawn point, you can easily just plop that down. In order for it to work properly, you're going to need a park entrance, which are under shops and facilities. So we put a park entrance on, and now that'll spawn guests. So that's one way to do it. And then maybe you just make a little cave here. Now, the reason why scenario mode is so nice is now we actually have legitimate borders. However, while working in scenario mode is a little bit strange. It allows us to place things outside of the borders. So it's not helpful to build in scenario mode, but scenario mode is helpful to get us started. Because what we're going to allow you to do, and one thing we encourage you to do, is to terraform the outsides of your park just a little bit. Maybe you want like a mountain in the background, because the map is going to be so big and so flat that it might be kind of boring. So for those of you who want to do, you know, a park in the middle of a valley, in the park on the side of a cliff, a park, however you want to do it, you can go into scenario mode and edit that. Maybe you want a river going all the way through your park and you run it all the way from here back around. You can do this with scenario mode now, and you can add rivers. Now you have a more interesting layout. When I open this up, you'll have your park here, but you have an interesting map to look at as well. So you can have some fun with this, and we're allowing this for sakes of creativity, of making this not just every single park that we open is just flat, boring, end to end cubes inside of cubes. We want to at least give a little bit of freedom because the park space is so tiny. So now you're happy with your terrain, you're happy with the way things are. Scenario mode is still going to give you the problem because the borders aren't actually helping you at all. So what you want to do here is you want to save your scenario. So we'll go here and save it. Channel 5 contest test, and we're going to hit save and play scenario. Now when we're playing the scenario, because we didn't set up all these parameters and stuff, a lot of things will probably be locked. You got locked items because they're using things that we didn't add. What you're gonna do here, you're gonna save your park again. So channel 5 final test, save it. And now we're gonna quit to the main menu. Now if we go to my parks, you'll see my final test is here, and we can open it as a sandbox and we can name it. And this is gonna be Apocalypse Land. And we start new. So now we're in sandbox mode, and as you can see, I can place a tree here, but I cannot place a tree here. Now you have a properly set up area where you can only build within your borders, and it is a perfect 40 by 40 or 160 meters by 160 meters. So one thing we're going to allow you to do in scenario mode is we're going to allow you to place trees on the outside, terraforming on the outside, but no buildings, no rides, or anything of that nature. So just because, you know, if we don't want this just to drop dead and be nothing. So if you end up at the very end having a whole bunch of trees in the corner of your park here, open her back up in scenario mode, put some trees down here, blend it, stagger it out, make them fade off, and just make it a little bit more interesting on the outside. But playing in sandbox mode of a version of what you created for yourself in scenario mode is going to ensure that when you're building a track ride, you cannot go outside of the borders, but you can still build here. So this will actually help you. So if you're doing underground stuff, if you're doing mountains, eventually if you start digging yourself a tunnel, you can't go past the border. But we don't want these cut off hard edges, so you can always smooth that out in scenario mode. However, the process is best for you, whether you open it up and just work with the blueprint that we gave you, and you just plop this down and start building away, and at the very end you take it into scenario mode and touch up your background, touch up your trees, make it all work for yourself. That is acceptable too. But when we get these submissions, we're going to be looking, does that fit? And are you going over the height limits? We're going to be looking into these things. So that is why I highly recommend you guys get started with properly looking at scenario mode. What kind of background do you want? What kind of terrain paints do you want? Do you want to just go with the regular Arctic biome or the Alpine biome? Be creative with it. Do something different with the background. Make sure you have a little bit of fun. But at the end of the day, the only place that you can build your fully themed area is here within these borders. And with that said, if I'm going to start on this park, my main entrance has to be apocalyptic. My main ride has to be apocalyptic. And my shops and ride skins as well. And in this tiny little space, I have to make the best post-apocalyptic park you have ever seen to an advanced level of quality. Boom. So if you guys have any questions, we're going to have a Q&A running up next, but this is the tutorial that you're going to need to get you started on your 40 by 40 dimensions, and hopefully that clears everything up. And we have both this video and this tool to help you get going, and editing out those borders in scenario mode should definitely help you if you're one of those people that are like, I don't know if that goes over the edge or not. Well, now you can tell for certain. So definitely set yourself up in scenario mode if you have any worries. All right, let's continue on with the rules. The general rules: only one submission per member, submit a park file, use the contest submission form only, and with that, please freaking name your park files to what you want to call your park. That is actually something we need to add in here. Name your parks after your theme. I don't want everything to be like 40 by 40 Planet Coaster contest. No, I want a name. Like I named mine Apocalypse park or whatever. Come up with something creative. I want to be able to find your file when I'm downloading them and looking for them. So name the name of your file and make sure it's something cohesive. This is a park after all, guys. It's not just a contest entry number 405. No, you name your park, you build your park, you put love into your park, come up with a name for it. The build area of your park is limited to 40 by 40 Planko grid tiles only. This is equivalent to 160 square meters or 520 feet, which I showed you guys in game on the metric system. A 40 by 40 wall blueprint is available, which I showed you, and if you click this, it'll pop down and you can click and download that. For subscribing to easily test the boundaries of your land, you are free and encouraged to terraform, add water, and place trees beyond the 40 by 40 boundaries, and I showed you guys that just a second ago. The total height limit is 100 meters or 325 feet in scenario mode, taken from the lowest point to the highest point. So however you want to do that, if you want your park to be a little bit deeper, you lower that box, and vice versa. We feel this is overly generous and given area of the dimensions. We do not want to see giant messy towers and coaster track that look ridiculous. So again, we want you to make a nice looking park and a themed area, a theme park. Don't make something ridiculous. Limit the number of guests in your park to no more than 500. I think 500 for a tiny little area like this is quite good. You are free to turn off in-game mechanics such as security, cleanliness, breakdowns, litter, vomit, happiness. We are not judging how efficient your park is, but how pretty it is. Theming. Yes, theming before coasters. This is a theme park land, and single most important element should be the cohesive theming tying all your attractions and shops together. So the contest this time around is your theme park as a whole. I don't want to see you do something generic where you're like, this is a Planet Coaster park and I put Chief Beef in there, Cosmic Cow, and it's just a mishmash of all these Planko characters. No, like if you want to do something cohesive and Planko themed, you're better off saying this is Captain Lockjaw's Pirate Resort, you know, and make it cohesive, because every single character in Planet Coaster has their own theme. Cosmic Cow does not play well with Chief Beef. She's sci-fi and he's more, I don't know, modern. So it doesn't work just putting all that stuff in there and calling it Planko themed. We want to make sure it is a vibe going across your park. You must include at least 5 shop vendors with no maximum, organized and situated however you feel best integrated into your land. So you have to decorate these shops to match your theme. So if you have an Egyptian theme that you're going with, we want to see little Egyptian oasis areas for your shops, or marketplaces, or a little tiny pyramid, anything like that. You must include a themed entrance to your land. Again, call it something. Say this is freaking the Oasis and make a big sign saying the Oasis, and everything in there is themed around something Egyptian, Oasis-y, Assassin's Creed style, you know, all that stuff. This is a gateway into your creative vision, so make it impactful as possible. So when I look at your park entrance, I go, this is the park I'm entering, and everything beyond here is going to represent what's on that sign. All shops, rides, plazas, concourse must be themed. I guess this is pathways. I had asked Dave for about that. We do not want to see your generic shop skins and unthemed flat rides detracting from your theming. No placing down just plain rides. If you're doing, again, an Egyptian area, you should have lampposts that are made out of snakes or something. You know, get crazy with your theming. No reusing or decorating existing scenery, coasters, rides, or shops from the workshop, even your own. But you may use workshop fonts and lettering. So, you know, a lot of people, like myself, I have an entire sci-fi package of shops and stuff. I even have a sci-fi boomerang coaster. I have a whole kit. I could essentially download it and just place it all in there and say, I'm done. No, we don't want you to place your workshop into a 40 by 40. We want you to create stuff. So, you know, I'll make an exception if there's like one cute little fairy that you made that's like 10 pieces. I guess we can put that in there. If you're gonna have to remake it anyways, and you're using fantasy theme, that'll be okay. If I were to make my own Cosmic Cow theme park, I would certainly reuse my own Cosmic Cow. But I made it, so we'll make it an exception on tiny things. All attractions, rides, and shops must be open and functional. Your park must be operating. 500 guests walking around or less. It's up to you. And everything's open, running, tested, going. So we're opening it up and going to a theme park. Main attractions. Your land must include one main attraction to a maximum of 3. Yes, you do not need a coaster, or you could have 3. We are opening it up to allow everyone the freedom to construct their own themed land with whatever anchoring attractions they find most suitable. So again, we're not judging your main attraction, but it needs one. Your park is being judged upon what is the coolest park. So if you happen to have a couple main attractions, that's cool, but we're not sitting there going, okay, whose main attraction was the best in this contest? So you could have 2 small main attractions, you could have 1 epic main attraction. You know, you can divide that up however you want, but at the end of the day, we're judging who has the best theme park. A main attraction is a coaster, not a transportation ride. So example, go-karts, robotic arms, and river rapids are allowed. So if you want your main attraction to be go-karts, that is acceptable. Using track purely as non-operational scenery does not count towards this limit. So if you just took a coaster track or a piece of river rapids for decoration, that's not attraction. When planning your main attractions, consider your own space and how you can get the most out of it. Intertwining your main attractions around your plazas, paths, shops, flat rides provide much more efficient use of your limited space. Think of Zayfor's creations and how he has flat rides in the center of his coasters and queues winding them all together. Think about that kind of stuff. Ensure your station and queues are suitably themed to continue your land's immersive experience. Coasters must meet advanced level of quality build, requiring basic understanding of the forces and smoothing. Yes, simply riding it on its own is not acceptable. Please try to use the forces respectably. No more than 6 vertical and 3 lateral Gs. Leeway will be given, but if you're having a difficult time, please seek out help on Discord. We want everybody to improve, make their coasters as enjoyable for everyone to watch. So we have seen it many times where legends have gone above 6 vertical Gs and 3 lateral, but they make phenomenal coaster experiences. And then we've seen beginners who have, 7, 8, 9, 10 Gs, and it's absolutely just a wonky ride. So there is a difference between being good at going above the suggested lateral and vertical Gs and being good at it. So if you're new to the game and you're unsure, keep an eye on your heat maps when testing your coaster. Make sure to ride your attractions in multiple POVs to ensure each shows off your creation to the fullest and that we're not smacking our face into 1,000 trees. Again, that's not advanced level building. Due to the number of attractions and things to see, most attractions will only be ridden once. So if there are a particular time you want to view, it feels highlights your creation the best, feel free to note it in the submission form. So if you're like, oh, I really want you to ride my main attraction at night, well, you can tell me that, but you might as well just use the day-night sequencer. Then you don't have to say anything. Flat rides and transportation rides, you must include 2 to a maximum of 5 fully themed flat rides. Transportation rides can be included in this category. Now, past 2. I want to see 2 flat rides, so we're changing that to past 2. So if you want to put a monorail in, that's technically not a flat ride. But if you want to somehow squeeze in a transportation ride, that is fine. But I want to see 2 themed flat rides minimum in your park. It's going to be hard to fit a transport ride in an area that small. And if you do it, you're most likely going to have a janky looking tiny park because that's going to take up a lot of your space. So if you're going to do it, you better do it well. Pick rides that complement and enhance your theme, not ones that will look out of place. So what we mean by this is don't pick a swinging pirate ship if you're doing a sci-fi theme. Ensure your queues are suitably themed to continue your land's immersive experience. Custom images, billboards, videos, user-created content are allowed. TMTK and custom images are allowed, but do not overdo it. TMT can be used to enhance creative builds to the next level, or they can also stand out like a sore thumb if your overall theming is lacking apart from them. So we're just allowing people to do this in case they wanted to do Jurassic Park. They can download some dinosaurs because it would be strange not having dinosaurs. Please put everything into Google Drive zip folder called Media Files, then add a link to your submission form. So we'll have a place in the submission form where you get to provide the link to your zip folder. Easy peasy, and do it on Google Drive, please. We have many creations to go through and cannot read all the detailed pages in full, so we'll ensure that your media is included in the submission form. Please double check that everything works. We do not have time to troubleshoot if downloading your media something goes wrong and isn't working properly. Please keep those files PG and appropriate for YouTube. Audio and music is not allowed with the exception of full narration without music. Unless you wish to take the time to complete narration of your ride, please use in-game music and sound effects. You are welcome to provide custom music and sounds for your Steam workshop, but ensure you have backup defaults for us to spotlight on the channel. So if there's some kind of music that you really thought would work with your theme park, you can include that in your Steam page. We're not going to stop you from doing that, but I won't be downloading it because I don't want to get copyright strict. YouTube is getting more and more strict with copyright on music. Your Steam page, you must add created for the Channel 5 Gaming Mini Park contest somewhere in the description of your Steam page. Please, guys, so many of you guys forget to do this, and I put on all this work, We're not making much money off these videos, especially with current events right now. You know, we get about $5 a video. It takes me about 2-3 hours to make each video. And all I want you to do is advertise my channel on your Steam page. Simple request, so please don't forget that. You do not need to put it in the title. Probably just don't do that. Just somewhere at the top on your Steam page. If you use the font from the Team Maker Toolkit or Workshop, be sure to credit these people in the description on your Steam page, and you can make a collection as well. Boom. And your prizes, you can click this and you'll see like freaking 400 games that were given away, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So moving on, we are going to have there'll be a Q&A going on in here. Zayfor says, howdy folks. So before everyone piles in here with their creation ideas and works in progress, we would like to first begin with a Q&A to flesh out as many questions on our mini park contest. So please fire away. So yeah, we're gonna basically open up the Planko contest room to being a Q&A as the moment this video goes live. So if you're watching this video now, hop over to Discord. Link is in the description. Click it, join Discord. If you're in here already, come over to the Planko contest room and ask all the questions you would like to ask about this contest that I didn't go over already. We'll answer them in a follow-up video right after this. So we'll let the questions go live for a few hours, and I'll follow up with a Q&A video. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's the Channel 5 mini park contest overview. The hardest part is definitely getting that 40 by 40 or 160 meters set properly on your own. We could have provided you with a map, but I want people to custom pick their palettes, their backgrounds, and come up with something creative. I like the addition of being able to terraform the background a little bit so it feels more like an immersive park in a setting. You're essentially creating your own scenario area with a tiny park in the middle of it all, and that was my way of getting. I originally wanted to do 60 by 60 or even larger because for me it was about a park contest for the channel. But hey, if this is successful, we will do more park contests in the future. I think everyone just was afraid to bite off more than they could chew, so we'll see how far you get with this, and this is pretty much the absolute smallest that we could go. Any smaller than this is just ridiculous, so we'll see how successful this is, and maybe in the future we turn up the dials 60 or 80 by 80, and we'll just see how this goes. So I didn't want to start things off too heavy, but I think I believe in all of you, and you guys will make some amazing theme parks. So just make sure everything is cohesive and one individual theme. So I can't wait to see what kind of themes you guys come up with. And if you're participating in this contest, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you're not, let us know how excited you are to watch these videos. But be sure to tune back in for the Q&A and join us on Discord. All right, everyone, you can finally get started on the next Channel 5 gaming contest. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with in the contest room. And first and foremost, we got to get the Q&A out of the way, and then after that is done, we'll be posting this form down in Discord so you can have another read at it. But I wanted to ensure that everybody watched the video first, because the tutorial setup for the 40 by 40 is paramount to before you get started. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.